Brad here with another completed repair. Had a Sinistar on the bench this time. So this was sent over. One of the complaints was control stopped responding. Overall, the boards were pretty decent. Some corrosion on here around the battery holder. The customer had put on a non-volatile CMOS RAM here for all the settings and high scores and that. So basically, I took off the old battery holder, cleaned it up as best as possible, filled in all the mounting points with solder and cleaned it up and put a little, one of the factory repair label, inspection label from another board over where they were pretty rough on these two. Cleaned it up in general. Did have a bad RAM on here. One of the legs was broke on it, and this board wasn't booting with that. It was just coming up to the carpet pattern, the rug pattern, and then resetting and never even giving you the RAM error, which was kind of interesting. Also changed the soft start 22 microfarad cap here with a tantalum. We've got 3 new Nichicon filter caps for the inputs, -5, +12, and +5. Put all new Molex headers on here with the square pins. One of the labels on, I think, decoder 4 here was missing. The other decoder 6 was pretty rough. I make reproductions of those, so I put new ones on, cleaned up the legs on the CPU, cleaned up all the pins on the 40-pin header here on the board. Those actually cause quite a bit of problems. People have some intermittent reboots and stuff, and it's caused by those corrosion on those pins. Back here on the ROM board, obviously a new ribbon cable. The one was original, pretty rough. We do have 2 new Nichicon filter caps here on the power input, new Molex headers all the way around with the square pins. Back here on the I/O board, widget board, someone had already changed out the 6821 PIA, peripheral interface adapter, thinking that might have been the problem with the intermittent controls. The ribbon cable on here was just original rough. Someone had monkeyed with it. When I took off the cover over the IDC here, the insulation displacement, one of the pins was bent in there, and so we put all new components in. It's real nice. We also put new 15-pin and 12-pin Molex headers on here with the square pin, cleaned it up, wiped it down, fully tested all the inputs. Back here on the sound and speech board, there's not a lot to these that we changed. There was an electrolytic aluminum here that I put a tantalum in, 10 microfarad. Of course, new ribbon cable. The original one was pretty rough as well. Back here on the soundboard, we've got all new Molex headers, all new electrolytics on here. You've got 3 aluminums here, 3 here. There's 4 more on here. I changed with tantalum. Here's one right here, and then one of them is for decoupling on the CPU, and another one back here. Also put a new bridge rectifier on these when I do them. Cleaned up the heat sinks, tightened everything up. Heatsink compound on the 7805 voltage regulator and the amplifier here. So everything seems to be working good now. It's run on the bench for 24 hours. Here's all the old parts, all the ribbon cables and connectors and battery holders and caps and labels and stuff. I always return that to the customer. Some people probably don't really want it, but I used to work at a dealership years ago in the 80s, and that was kind of the thing. When you worked on a car, you had to return the old parts, so it's kind of stuck with me over the years. So I've got a little remote on the bench for power. It's carpet pattern. That's testing the RAM, actually. All systems go. Right into a tract. Got the high score table cleaned up. On these ones here, for some reason, it's a little corrupted when it first boots. You actually have to go in and do a manual reset on them, and then it cleans it up pretty nice. So I can coin it up here. Again, I've got a PlayStation controller on my bench through an Arduino board to drive everything. I can load different configurations. I'm actually simulating the 49-way joystick with the analog stick here.
I hunger. I hunger.
We'll mine a little bit here. So you can see it's playing fine. I'll drop into diagnostics here, just go through a couple things. All ROM's okay, no RAM errors, CMOS is good. We'll go through a couple sounds here, which And then here's the inputs. I can do up, down, left, right. We've got fire, bomb, Cinnabomb. Here's your grid pattern for doing convergence, red, green, blue, then color bars. And then we go into the bookkeeping data, and here's where you can configure everything. And again, these are the values that once I load the game, I'll go in and reset the factory settings, bookkeeping, and high score reset when I first do a game, and then it's really solid here with the high score table. Also on this board too, Cinemax and I worked on a project. He did most of it, where we came up with a fix for the soundboard with the test button. Originally on these, when you press the test button here on the soundboard, nothing happened. Well, he went in and found some errors in the original code, was able to get it working again, and then we went back and added all of the speech as well. So when you hit the button now, and the ROM here was missing the label, so I was going to put a new one anyway, so we just UV erased it and reprogrammed it with the updated code. So I'll hit the button here and do a little test on it. You'll hear it run. It'll do the D to A converter test, and then it'll do all of the sounds coming off the speech board, and then it'll just loop.
I am Sinistar. Coward, run, live, hunger, beware.
And just loops. So we'll power it off here. So it's good to go. I'll get it boxed up and heading back. Thanks.